Welcome to the tying technique video of implementing Kreinik fibers into dubbing loops. This incredibly useful flash can be chopped up and put into dubbing loops, and you can mix and match colors as you see fit. As you can see, we've put it into a couple game changer platforms here with a Wilma's Weakness Head and a Bad Meets Evil program. We use this all the time. It's super fun, and the opportunities are just endless here. We've got 70 plus colors of unsupported and supported in stock, including the bulk packs. So if you tie a lot of Krelexes, Jewel Thieves, or just need a bunch of flash, or do these, that's a great way to do it. You're going to start, got a roll wrap marabou tail, but we're going to start with a big chunk of Kreinik fibers. I took this off a bulk hank. Now I've got standard high luster gold here. I'm going to blend it with lavender pearl. And those are the two colors I'm going to use in this video. I like to start with a pretty dense chunk if I'm going to build a multi-section fly, and you can always hang what you have left over in a Chiconi's prep station, which is what I love to use those for. So I'm cutting about inch-long pieces here, chunks off of the end of this chunk of flash here, and I'm just stacking them up. And I found that you always use more than you think you always undercut yourself. So just load up quite a bit. And I'm looking for a blend of about 60% gold and 40% lavender pearl here is kind of my goal. So my lavender pearl is going to be a little bit sparser of a piece I cut from the original hank. And I'm looking here, like if I'm building a changer, each segment I do this on, I'm going to increase the length of these fibers. And as I lay it out, I'm going to throw a couple pink in there for good measure and add a little contrast and add a nice flare to the fly. And I'm just piling it up on top, kind of like we're stacking wood here. And once I've got it all kind of segmented, I'm going to turn it sideways and break it down, spread it out a little bit, and get ready to use. I've got a rubberized chip clip, courtesy of Amazon, that is just super useful for this. There's a lot of cool tools out there for this, but we use these all the time. So I'm going to grab it with those and set that aside before I build my dubbing loop. And relative to the length of my chunk of Kreinik, I'm going to build a dubbing loop that is about an inch longer on both sides for this. So create your dubbing loop, wrap forward, close your eye up. I've got a tail feather spine cut to about an inch long here. And I'm probably going to do a double jointed, pretty basic fly for this. Probably a Bad Meets Evil just because I love that fly so much. But nonetheless, give yourself about an inch clearance and feed your Kreinik fibers into your loop. And I'm going to spin my dubbing hook. This is a basic one from Dr. Slick I use all the time, just a single hook. And spin it a few times before you let go with the clamp. Just be careful you don't grab your tailing fibers into your dubbing loop. They gave me a little bit of a hard time here, so I'm picking them out with my scissors as I spin. And as it spins up, you can keep an eye on it. I like to, when I think it's close, I'm going to lightly pull on a couple of the fibers and just see. If they come out, I need to keep spinning. If they're in there really tight, I know it's ready to roll. And just keep spinning away. You'll notice your total length is going to shrink here as the dubbing loop tightens. And I know now that these fibers aren't coming out, so I'm going to grab my hackle pliers and just grab it above the dubbing hook and detach the dubbing hook and palmer this forward as I go. And I'm planning on trimming this down at least 50%, but I know I need the profile and I want it to be fairly dense. You can play with that for depending on what fly you're tying, and tie it off up at the eye. I used quite a bit here, and I made it to the eye. It ended up being a perfect match. So once you've got it tied off, you can trim your dubbing loop, your excess dubbing loop, and build a little thread head just to make sure it doesn't come apart. Now I'm going to brush everything out, maybe do some prelim trimming, but brush it out, and I'm going to put down a little ice dub base here, which I'm going to then glue after I've thrown a quick half inch in, and that's going to make it super durable. This technique makes for a very durable fly. I'm using Vivas Power Thread 140 here, and in my testing and fishing, I put a lot of fish on the same fly, and I haven't felt the need to go to a heavier thread like 240 Power Thread. Very durable. I'm looking kind of for a tallish, more narrow profile. That seems to be what works really well. So a lot of trimming here, a lot of brushing, a lot of trimming, toggling, all that stuff. You can decide how you want to do it, as big, as small, if you want it to be wide and fat or tall and skinny. That's your call here. But you can blend. I've done up to four colors in one loop, and it's super fun. And there's just so many options with Kreinik. It's very durable material. Um, and once you kind of get it dialed in, one thing I focus on is making sure I don't have any of those Kreinik fibers messing with my tail. In this case, I used to use roll wrap marabou, but for more elaborate flies, you might be building hen feathers and stuff. It's a little easier to trim. As you can see, I'm preparing this to go into some kind of changer platform. And that is how you put Kreinik fibers into a dubbing loop to make killer baitfish patterns. Thanks a ton for tuning in. We've got 70 plus colors of this stuff in stock. Hit up our web store, holler anytime, drop a comment. Thank you so much. Have a great day.